Hello and welcome to Doloc Town, a cozy farm sim where you can build your dream farm. Now I know what you're thinking, not another farm sim. But stick with me, because this one is different in all the right ways. Set in a post-apocalyptic world where nature's on the brink of collapse, here you'll cultivate life on the edge of a wasteland, uncover mysteries along the way, and most importantly, help a town on the brink of collapse find hope again. Picture this, a world where technology went haywire, leading to a devastating war between humans and machines. What's left? A landscape scarred by acid rain and desperate survivors. Your family were among those refugees, fleeing on a train that eventually ran out of fuel. While others stayed and built Doloc Town, your family moved on, but something kept calling you back. Maybe it's the memory of the bustling streets, the hum of its vanished leader, Ponka, or the sense that buried beneath the rubble lies a secret that could change everything. So let's dive into what makes this free demo worth checking out in 2025 Steam Next Fest. First up is the vertical farming system, and it's exactly what it sounds like, but better. Unlike the usual flat farmland in most top-down games, you can build upward, creating multi-level farming platforms. Imagine a towering agricultural sanctuary rising from the wasteland. It's not just cool, it's actually really practical too. The building system uses a simple grid that makes design kind of satisfying. Just click, drag, and done. And if you are afraid that you might break something important, the game gives you a heads up that there's an object on a platform and it won't let you do that. So it's kind of user-friendly in that sense too. Then there's the side-scrolling perspective, which might sound limiting at first, but it actually opens up unique possibilities. The 2D space forces you to think differently about the farm layout and resource management. Plus, it makes exploration feel more like a classic adventure game, which perfectly fits the post-apocalyptic setting. The visual design here is also something special. The pixel art manages to be both charming and atmospheric, which is not an easy balance when you're dealing with this type of setting. But the game manages to lean into a color palette that uses muted tones that kind of reflect that apocalypse vibe and like, oh man, that happened, with bright pops of color that give little pops of hope that, we're gonna really change things around here. Our character also sports a perpetually grumpy chibi expression and oversized sleeves, which kind of perfectly captures the vibe of someone farming through an apocalypse. The environmental design also tells its own story. Rusted machinery peeks through overgrown vegetation, and abandoned structures loom in the background. But let's also talk about the animations of the townsfolk, because they offer a really cool window into their personalities. Even the way some characters walk or, also adjust their hats is unique and perfectly captures their quirks and individuality. It's these little details that make the world feel real and lived in, and really bring it to life. Now let's talk about what you'll actually be doing in Doloc Town, because this is where things get interesting. Instead of the traditional till soil, plant seeds approach, you'll be crafting planting boxes. These need wood and soil, which you'll get from cutting trees and breaking down rocks. It's a simple change that makes perfect sense in this setting. After all, you're trying to grow food in a wasteland. The mechanics feel pretty intuitive. The game offers guidance when you need it, and subtle cues to point you in the right direction. Blue droplet indicators show which plants have been watered, helpful pointers show you where seeds can be planted, and the crafting menu clearly displays what you have, what you need, and what you have to look forward to. As you explore, movement becomes key. If you fall off a platform, don't panic. I definitely did. But I can't climb this. No! I'm so sad. We need to get home. And then I learned that you can double jump. Pressing the down arrow also lets you drop through platforms that look like stairs or planks. It feels a bit odd at first, but it quickly becomes second nature and makes traveling the map and world so much fun. And before you know it, mastering these little mechanics sets you up for the next big step, which is unlocking and using the tech tree. Now, at first, the tech tier system can feel a little bit overwhelming at first. I definitely had that moment of, wait, what am I looking at? But it's really a familiar mechanic that we see in games to level up our skills and unlock perks. In this case, it's for technology to make our lives easier. We'll start with basic equipment like a manual water pump, but through the tech tree, you can unlock things like automatic sprinklers, which you can connect to rain barrels. It's not just about making things easier, it's about growing a resilient farm in a tough yet hopeful environment. And this is where the game kind of hooks you. I was initially worried about the gameplay loop, especially since it can be a struggle in many farming and life sims, but here the progression is actually pretty addictive. You start with gathering basic resources like wood, ore, and scrap, but then you realize you can refine them with smelters and other machines to craft even better equipment, which is essential for advancing both your farm and the main story. Suddenly, you're thinking, just one more upgrade, just one more machine, and then you start telling yourself, I'll just play one more day. It's only 15-20 minutes. It's the biggest lie we've ever told ourselves because suddenly that time turns into hours. Something that's nice though is there's 3 different ways to save the game. If you prefer the one more day approach, you can take a nap or go to bed and the game will save. Otherwise, you can save at any point in the day at your tent if you need to take a break. Let me know in the comments if you've ever fallen victim to the one more day trap in farming sims. I know that I definitely have, and I'm curious to know what game that was for you. As you explore, you'll also encounter more than just peaceful landscapes. Beyond farming and crafting, there's combat. You'll venture into areas filled with monsters and robots, and to progress safely, you'll need to fight them and gather key items like data disks. These are essential for advancing your research at the botanical lab, helping you uncover old world crops and even more ways to restore and grow your farm. The town hall unlocks new recipes and eventually lets you repair transportation systems like bus stations and cable cars. This will be a huge help in terms of movement speed because right now the character speed is a bit slow, but hey, the sound design is incredible and I love the sound when she walks. Speaking of rebuilding, the developers have shared some amazing features coming to early access that I think will add a lot to the game in terms of more immersive features. As of the demo, one day I'll wake up to acid rain, which can pose a bit of a challenge to certain crops that can't withstand those conditions if you're not prepared. To strengthen Doloc Town's post-apocalyptic nature even more, the developers are challenging players with 2 additional weather types. Scorching heat causes a series of effects to your farm as well as environments in the wilderness, and I love how this looks in terms of animation, like the little wavering heat. Like, this is something that we actually see in real life, and I just love to see this represented in a game as well. Rain with thunderstorms will also be super cool because if we're equipped with the right knowledge and skills, we can use this as an opportunity to power up the machines on our farm. They're also adding fishing, so if this is a feature that you like in farming and life sims, remember this is what you have to look forward to in early access. A vehicle system to help you navigate the map with ease. And speaking of the map, right now it feels like we have quite a bit to explore. And the cool part is that once you complete the demo, you'll see that there's upcoming features that are locked as of now. One of them mentions sailing, meaning we'll probably have more to explore in the world surrounding Doloc Town via boat, which is going to add so much depth to exploration. Now the question is Doloc Town the game for you? The answer is yes if you love farming sims but want something fresh. You enjoy uncovering secrets and piecing together lore as you explore and rebuild. You like crafting and decorating. And, importantly, you don't want to be judged for rummaging through trash. In fact, being a trash panda and scavenging is strongly encouraged in this game. Anyways, here's my own mix of honest thoughts and experiences, wishful thinking, and opportunities that I see for improvement. I love games that are unique and take familiar concepts that work well in other games and blend them together to create something new. That said, I do have a lot of hope for Doloc Town and will be keeping a close eye on its development. I'm such a huge fan of the sound design. I'm going to take a brief moment to highlight a few sounds I just find so satisfying. Moving on, some of the dialogue feels pretty real and funny. One time I caught a guy saying "hell yeah," and I absolutely reciprocate that hell yeah because it feels like a lot of writers tend to keep things neat and buttoned up, and it's okay to add spice to writing. A little hell yeah never hurt anyone. And lastly, for those that know me and my nerdy rants on Discord, I really love games with rich social features, relationship building, and of course, the romance aspect. I understand that it's probably not a focus to find love in a post-apocalyptic setting, but a girl can certainly dream. Now let's move on to opportunities I see for improvements. Honestly, a lot of this is just nitty-gritty in terms of accessibility and community feedback I've seen from a lot of similar games in this genre from over the years. Number one, I'd like to see a usable lantern to craft that reaches more of a radius when we're out walking at night. Maybe batteries can be used to charge up the brightness. I think that would be really cool and to encourage night exploration. Number two, personally, I'm a huge fan of challenges in games like combat, environmental factors, and time speed, and players coming from the RPG side might be on board with this too. However, coming from the cozy gaming side, players might be happier to experience the game at their own pace and difficulty level. So maybe to appeal to that side a bit more, there's toggles for these things like slow down game time, toggle on and off, hit to aggro for monsters, and so on. What makes Doloc Town special isn't just its unique setting or mechanics, it's how everything comes together to create something that feels both familiar and fresh. It's a game that respects the farming sim genre while not being afraid to try new things, and for that, I respect the development of this game so much. The demo is free, it's available on Steam, and I genuinely love to hear what you thought if you tried it out. Did you discover any cool building techniques? Find any secrets I missed? Drop a comment below and let's talk about it. If you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out more videos from the channel because it does help the algorithm boost this video to more cozy gamers like you who also might be looking for something different. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.